So what's being suggested is apparently seeking is like child's play of playing of an imaginary seeker that is lost, but it's all just fantasy. It's child's play. Like thinking that the imagined seeker has been walking in the desert for 40 years, trying to find the promised land or the hope of paradise. Um, but it's just been really walking in circles in a sandlot, looking for marbles of wisdom, punishing itself by going back and forth on the monkey bar, concentrating on the monkey bar, being aware of the rides, going to the opposite sides of the seesaw, going up and down, building sand castles, only to destroy them by tripping over them in a makeshift dystopia. There's no utopia and there's no dystopia. It's just a sandlot. In deep sleep, all of these ideas about utopia or dystopia is abandoned completely. Seemingly, there's no next day, but the next day, the adventure continues. Maybe this time it's going to another fantasy of high sea adventures, longing for the stillness in the deepest ocean, but gets caught up, chasing waves after waves, looking for that perfect wave so that it can surf and touch the stillness, that perfect bliss. It forgets that it is seeking for the ocean. So ocean is seeking the ocean, but gets caught up in the tidal waves, in the, what do you call those small waves, ripples. But it keeps on missing that perfect wave that it had before. And it gets disappointed. It gets caught up in the surface level, waves appearing simultaneously, one wave right after the other, but is missing the point that the stillness and the waves, the depth of the ocean and the waves are the same. It gets caught up in this fantasy of that infinite wave that will wash away all of its desire for the perfect wave. In deep sleep, it's all ocean. Apparently, the next day it gets caught up again, longing for a journey of freedom. It goes on an epic train ride, jumping from train to train, looking for the final destination, longing for that liberation. But it misses that the trail is already freedom. In deep sleep, there's no rides, there's no trains, there's no destination. It is what it is already. Seemingly again, apparently the next day, it gets caught up and it goes into a circus. It goes and joins the circus or watches the circus, watches all of this lion tamers, jugglers, clowns, and gets caught up in that idea that there must be something that the clown has. That's why they're really happy. So it goes into clowning school to try to get clarity on how to become a clown. In deep sleep, there's no circus. It's already what it is. Seemingly, seeing that it's just really hopeless. There's just going to be rides after rides, seemingly these fantastical rides of seeking. But when it's seen that the seeker is the imaginary role-playing fantasy game of something that never was, then everything is just this. No matter what seems to appear, no matter what seems to not appear, is always this. What is appearing cannot be thought about. There's no reward for seeking. There's no rescue mission. There is nothing at all. It's just this. So all of this fantasy, when it seemingly comes to an end, it wants out of the ride. It wants out of the circus. It doesn't want to chase trains anymore. It's saying, time out. I don't want to play anymore. Then letting go of the fantasy, sometimes it's hard because there's no one letting go of the fantasy. There's always the longing for the next adventure, the next fantasy, the next seeking, the next clown. But the joke is, there are no clowns, there are no seekers, there is no adventure. It's all fantasy. But the fantasy made real, a fantasy that feels absolutely real. When it's seen that it's just a fantasy, then the play just becomes play. But there are no players because the imaginary seeker is what is seen as just play. It's just part of the play. The rides, everything, the clowns, the seeking is just fantasy. It's not getting rid of the fantasy because there's no one that gets rid of the fantasy, but the fantasy is over. It's just this. It's just this. It's like going to a roller coaster ride, and when you get off, rather than going back into it, or even going back to it, it's just seen as a ride. It's just seen as a play. There's no one choosing to ride or not ride. There's no one choosing to surf or not surf. It's all play. And this idea that there is something that is better than this, only if I get to the next ride, only if I get to the next adventure, only if I catch the next train, maybe it will lead me to freedom. But the freedom is the play. The freedom is the waves. The freedom is the seeking. The freedom is being lost. The freedom is this. The freedom is this. And the freedom that appears seemingly to be missed is always there in deep sleep. That peace that's longed for, that peace that's yearned for is always this. It just appears as a ride. It just appears as a play. It just appears as waves in the deep, still water of the ocean. The waves that are appearing are not different from the stillness. They're the same. Sometimes it's wavy, sometimes it's still. Sometimes the play at a park gets really rough. Sometimes it's enjoyable. It's all play. It cannot be figured out why this play is playing, but it's just a play playing. It's like an amusement park. When there is a seeming, when there's a kid's play that gets really, really serious, then one feels bad and tells on mommy. When it's seen that it's just play, it's kind of like being a kid and also growing up at the same time. That in this play, I don't know what to call it other than just play. It's just all play. And there's nothing wrong or right in a play. In this play of seeking, when it gets really, really serious, the apparent player wants to get out of the play, but there's this infinite play. There's nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing that can be undone. It is just play. It's just a whole bunch of players, but there are really no players. It's just play. If you want to ask a question about the play, please go ahead. And later on, we karaoke.
Hey, Emerson.
Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
good, good. I was just thinking if it's like a play, in a way, life is more, I don't know, it kind of lightens it up,
It
sort of,
does, yeah.
because it's like like why there's nothing in a way to really quote unquote worry about. Because maybe it's like an amusement park. You're just going
It
through different,
it is,
like
yeah.
different things, and whatever happens, like if um, I don't know, like the debt crisis, or here in the United States, or Kim Jong Un is going to send nuclear bombs
Yeah,
over. Well, it's all like in like a movie. You just
it
you'll,
is. It is. And
yeah,
it's fascinating, right, really, because everything that we think is form is formless.
yeah,
So it's like this shape-shifting play, right? That appears as one day kind of like, seeking liberation and seeking wealth sometimes, seeking relationships, seeking this, seeking that. It's like a child's play, and it's fascinating if it's seen through that lens of innocence, right? It's just play. And no one gets hurt in this play. It seems like there's hurt that happens, but that's also play. So if you
yeah,
see that from that lens of that perfection of a play, then even the idea of wrong or right seems to vanish. It's just play. Like,
yeah,
for example, when you see two puppies playing, right? It's just really cute, and then it gets rough sometimes. They're growling and everything, right? And at the end of it, they're kind of like sniffing each other's butt. It's just play. It's it's
it,
it's 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 funny with it's like, even if you look at like politics, right? It's the opposition, this or that. If you look at a whole bunch of stuff, it's just play.
yeah. It's like I don't know. It's like in a way, it's like adventures or different things are happening, but it's all kind of whatever it is whatever it is, and it's okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And if you see like children's play, right? You know what I'm saying? Kind of like when you have little toddlers playing, right? Sometimes they get angry at each other. You're not playing fair.
You, you,
Someone
you
pushed me.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
reminds me of like going to an amusement park where you want to go on like a roller coaster because you want to like feel frightened or vomit while you're
Yes.
up.
Exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
That's the idea that I had. It's like an amusement park, and the tidal waves is just really a kiddie pool. You're
yeah,
looking for waves in a kiddie pool. And then what you think is like 40 years of seeking, it's like a sandlot. Like,
yeah,
that story of Moses, that he went around for 40 years, in the desert and
right.
everything. It's a sandlot, right? And
Yeah,
you're like, oh, I didn't have to kind of like, and you destroy other kids, sand castles, and you get angry, and then there's cliques that forms, but it's just all a play. And everyone that's appearing is, the players that appear, including you, is just play.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
just a cosmic play of epic proportions, but it's really nothing at all too.
yeah, but yeah, I like the analogy of like kids playing because kids could play like army or killing or
Yeah.
whatever, and but they're just having fun
Yeah,
and
my my brother used to have toy soldiers, you know what I'm saying? Lined up and everything, right? And he has a complete storyline about it. And we call him Bam, right? Because all years bam, 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 bam. It's
yeah,
just all of these toy soldiers falling down. I'm like, who won? He goes, I don't know. It's not about winning or losing, it's just play.
yeah.
Yeah.
It I kind of think of it sort of like it's like instead of trying to, I don't know, control things and plan things, it's like you go to the amusement park of life, whatever, and
Yeah.
there's all kinds of things, and who knows what ride you're going to be on.
That's right. When I was young, I went to Canada's Wonderland, which is kind of like the big amusement park here. And I went to a roller was my first roller coaster at that time back in the 80s. It was the biggest roller coaster ever, right? So I went on that, I was like 17 or 16, I can't remember. And then so the roller coaster goes all the way up, and then it stops and it goes backwards. That's why it's called the bat. I nearly peed my pants and I think I was crying. Guess what I did right after the ride?
What's that?
I lined back up. Or you go to bumper cars, it's just a whole amusement
Yeah,
park.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's almost like it's like you're off the hook because it's just play.
yeah.
Everything that is done is just play. Everything that is felt is just play. And it's
Right.
so realistic because the play is real, but it's just play.
Yeah,
But there's no reality because it's just play.
yeah,
Yeah. It's just another way of calling it's an illusion or a dream or whatever,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
play. The play
You
is
know,
that it's not a play.
right. You
Yeah.
know, once I went on a play at a place called Great Adventure in up in New Jersey,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and you go up 50 feet in this
Yeah.
car and then it drops you. So
Yeah.
we go to the top and then it blows like a horn to warn you it's going to drop, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it blew the horn, but it didn't drop. It got stuck.
Yeah.
And we're in this car with, you know, a bunch of people and I'm with a friend of mine. And we began rocking the car. We were like moving back and forth. And the other people in there were like getting angry, you know. And but it was fun. It'd be stuck.
Yeah.
And then the fire department came and we had to go off this emergency stairway and climb down. But it was unplanned and not having any control over what was going to happen because we didn't know. That's where it was fun, pure fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Even when it gets serious, if we really look at it, right? When life seemingly gets serious, right? It's just this fantasy play that's
Yeah,
supposed to look real. That's supposed to feel real. That,
yeah,
that is supposed to look like not a play. So the
yeah,
play is that it's not a play.
yeah,
And everybody's serious about seeking, but it's just play.
yeah, yeah. I once read in a book, it said the best way of waking up in the morning, even though you normally you wake up and you're planning your whole day and
Yeah.
you have to go to work, but to kind of say, I wonder what today will bring. I wonder.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then just like, hey, whatever, no matter what you planned, it's going to turn out in whatever way it turns out.
That's right. Yeah. I'm not sure who said it, and I'm paraphrasing. This
Yeah.
character wakes up in the morning, he goes, bring it.
That's cool.
Because
Well,
when there's that, there's no mind. When there's that mindset, it's just, oh, it's just play. It's just, and it's almost like it's the, when the laughter arises, right? When it's the seeing that, oh, it's always been as well. What was I thinking about then? Like what the hell was I believing and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's kind of like getting caught up in the realistic, role play, but there's no
yeah.
players. It's just roles.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it's like we're an actor or whatever. I don't know. It's like an
Yeah.
immersive movie or
I
play.
think there's a Shakespeare thing. All the world is stage or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. To paraphrase. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then like each apparent person plays the part, but but all the parts are just. I guess
It's an
we're
empty
playing all the
stage.
parts. Yeah,
It is an
and
empty
there's no one there.
stage
Yeah,
because there's no audience and there's really no players, right? It's just
yeah,
it's just all play.
yeah,
It's in the absence of the seeming trying to figure out the play, then play just becomes lighthearted. It becomes easier,
yeah,
seemingly, but it's still play. So nothing changes because it's still a play.
yeah.
Yeah.
It, it's relaxing because it's like if you go to a play, like at the playhouse, and you see somebody get murdered. Um, and I remember this once. I went to a play, and somebody got murdered, and they were in pain. And at the end of the play, everybody was going out. It was a small playhouse, and the actors were going out the side door to sign autographs. And this old woman went up to the guy who got murdered, the actor, and she said, "How horrible!" She's crying. How could they do this to you? And he said to the lady, "It's just a play.
Just
it's
a
just
play.
it's
Yeah.
just a play." And she goes, "Oh my God, you remind me of my son." And he goes, "Listen, lady, I'll sign something for but we're trying to get to a diner to get dinner or something.
Yeah.
But I remember that. And it's like leaving a movie and you saying, "Oh my God, how could this happen?" And all your friends are saying, "Hey, we're going to Cheesecake Factory to get a burger. Lighten up.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just a play."
Or when you watch kind of like a really, play that is just so intense, right? So intense that you can't shake off the character off your head. If you
Yeah,
watch an actor, for example, play a role particularly good, you can't take the actor away from that character.
yeah,
If you know what I mean, right? For example, if there's a couple of actors that I really like them in one movie, but I can't seem to watch them in another movie because I'm always still thinking about the role that they played really, really well.
yeah.
Yeah,
Jim Carrey talked about that in a documentary that, you put the mask on of being the actor, but then in a way you forget it was kind of a mask and you become,
yeah.
and like the actor becomes that. And then
Oh
he's
yeah, yeah.
typecasted to that role.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. When I DJ, I'm the DJ.
Yeah,
There's no Emerson. It's the DJ, right? It's
yeah,
a lot of fist pumping, you know what I'm saying, and dancing and everything, right? It's the DJ.
yeah, yeah,
It's just a
yeah,
character. This speaker is just another character. This is
yeah,
just a speaker. There's no Emerson here.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's just
it,
play. The Emerson, the DJ, the speaker, the brother, the son, it's all play.
yeah. It's sort of, I guess, it's like an insight that the character or the role that's played is not. It's just a role play.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's an apparent character. It's like an actor,
Yeah. But it's
but
like an
there's a
imaginary,
forgetting.
it's yeah.
Yeah. And then you kind of forget that you think, well, that's me because you take it on, but it's just,
But
um,
that's the role, is me.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's that's the lead role, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
am. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm the main actor, so it's all happening to me.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the problematic way of thinking that you're enlightened, because in the play you are now enlightened.
Yeah,
It's still a play.
yeah,
When it's seen that, oh, it's just a play, that there's no personal enlightenment, so to speak, then the play just, it's kind of like someone turns on the light and basically say, hey, did you know that this is a movie that you're watching? You're like, oh yeah, sorry, here I was thinking that it was real. Or like
yeah.
when someone ruins, like you're watching a really scary movie. I don't know if people watch scary movies here. And the usher comes in with the flashlight. You're like, oh, it's ruining it.
That's true.
Because there's this involvement, this full involvement with this play. And I think I talked about this, not just the AI, but kind of like, I was talking about this before, of kind of like, imagine being in a very what do you call that? A movie that is completely immersive.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is that there's no you in the movie, but you think that there's a you in the movie.
Yeah, I think it's like in the free fall of watching a movie. It's like, so then there's that experiencing of terror or happiness or love or whatever.
Yeah,
It's not that you're detached, you're so in it that it's all, and
yeah,
it's okay to feel all that because it's all going to turn out okay. At least.
yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. But what's being missed is that this is also okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, the seeking is also all right. It's just play.
yeah. That's kind of amazing because then there's no worry about the seeking because it's just part of
It's
the
just
play.
play. Yeah.
Yeah,
And even when the method actor, what I'm saying, is getting kind of like really involved in their play and saying that I don't want to play this play anymore. You
right.
know, and
Yeah,
and but that's also the play.
yeah,
That's the best performance there.
yeah. Absolutely. Oh well.
Because they know that it's a play, but somehow they can't shake off that they're just a play,
Yeah, it's
because
like
that's
they
the
became
play,
the character.
because
Yeah,
that's
that's the
the
play.
play, because it's playing
Yeah,
that way.
yeah. You know, it's like even when the actor in the play gets killed in the play, that's the role that was played. But after the play ends,
Yep.
death of the play,
Yep.
then it's like, okay, well, what's the next play going to be? What, what
Yeah.
role will be the next role that I'll play? And maybe
That's
it'll be
right.
the same role or a different
Yeah.
character role or something.
Yeah. And the seeker, saying what's funny about the seekers, they see the ending of the play, especially when they have a glimpse, but they wait for the next play to come.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's no one. The play is that they're waiting for the play, another play to, because it's just this play, right? So
Yeah.
there's this player here, but there's no one playing it
Yeah. That's it's
because
just
it's
play.
just play. It's just play.
Like a player piano, it just plays.
It does. It does. It's just automatic. It's like all of the things, all of the characters that you see have invisible kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
strings.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. We're all Pinocchios.
That's true.
But there's no one controlling the strings though. See, that's the difference.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's
Well,
fascinating.
it's fascinating and life, the way or the appearance of life, it's more exciting because whatever happens is whatever happens.
Exactly. Yeah. The play is just playing.
Yeah.
It's just play.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I'll let
Thank
somebody
you.
else jump
Thank
in.
you. Oh, no worries. So part of the play is that we forget it's a play. Yeah. Because the play is about it's not a play, meaning that the play is about making this look like that it's not a play. That's the play. Camille. Hey, Camille. Hello.
Hey man, how you
Hey.
doing?
Hey, how's it
Good.
going?
Oh, just driving off to Costco.
Oh, nice. Are you
Yeah,
are you in Van or are you in
I'm on Vancouver Island,
oh, you're in
Comox
Vancouver
Valley.
Island. Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, all that talk about Shakespeare, it just always reminds me of, to be or not to be. And it's basically like, that's what it comes down to. So all of this could just as easily not be, but for some reason it appears to be.
It just
So
appears
it's
to be, yeah.
like, it's kind of like a no-brainer. Like the
It's
other
just
option just
it's just
seems like,
being. It's just being. Not
yeah,
a being, but being. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But anyway, all that chat in the breakout room, we were talking about addiction and
Oh, I missed it.
your
I missed it.
yeah, it was about your Zoom meeting with Zabby, and there I see him, he's right there. So I don't know. I just was wondering, like, obviously it just doesn't seem like it has anything to do with anything, yet as like the individual story, it's can be quite big. So I mean, do you have any like comments, or you guys have
Um,
any interesting
it is what
revelations
it is,
about
no
any of
matter
that?
how it. Yeah, it is what it is, no matter how it seems to appear, right? So there,
Yeah,
if there is seeming kind of like wanting to, stop the addiction, that's also what's happening. If addiction's happening, that's also what's happening. That there's no one choosing to do it as well, right? There's no one how do you say it, there's no one in charge. So addiction happens and it's just it, or it doesn't happen, or what, AA happens or it doesn't happen as well. There's seeming to be the thing with addiction before, and I think I'm not sure who said this, but the addiction is the opposite of connection, and that's just another story. Do you see what I'm trying to say? When there is just discontentment here, so whatever seems to appear, then the seeming addictions that appear is not because of something that I can control or cannot control. It's just what is. So even the trying to control it is beyond my control. Does that make any sense? Being sober is beyond my control. Being not sober is beyond my
yeah, of
control.
course.
Yeah.
And it obviously can't have anything to do with, let's say, what is more than it just simply is. So I guess
It
in a
just
sense, it has
simply is.
everything to do with what is, just like anything else.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, I guess the way that I'd put it is like still within what is, like, let's say being really successful it has a
Yeah.
profound like fun or excitement, rather than just being a couch potato that rots and does nothing, even though they are both just as seemingly
Yeah.
insignificant. So I guess like addiction can play more of like this, like, oh yeah, couch potato, like absolute apparent meaninglessness, even though everything is in a sense no more meaningless than meaningful. But like breaking out of addiction could have a profound,
Oh yeah,
exciting,
yeah, of course. Yeah,
like,
seeking help is also what is. And breaking out from addiction is also what is. But there seems to be more clarity, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
So
When there's no more addictions seemingly running, right?
yeah, and in my like in the experience on this end, I would still tell somebody, even though, oh, it is what it is, like nothing matters. Well, I
Yeah,
would still say, well, freaking get out of your addiction, man. You're gonna feel way better, and it's gonna be
totally.
awesome.
Yeah,
Like that's
totally.
all, you
Yeah.
know.
When I was in the story, right, I was
Uh,
going through a lot of depression and suicidal tendencies, right? Rather than kind of like just saying that it's just what is, there was also some help that was sought after, some therapy. You know what I'm talking about? It's just
oh
what is
yeah,
as well. Yeah. It's not about well, it's not about thinking that that, oh, it's just what is, this what is
Ye-
appears in everything.
yeah,
Seeking help is
exactly. Because
also
I
what's
mean,
happening. Yeah.
if you try to take this and you do like applied non-duality with this, it's just not gonna work. It's gonna end up
No.
twisting
That's
you
why applied
apart.
non-duality does not work.
Exactly. And overall, we were just talking about playing roles. Well, one of the things that should spark within is like play your goddamn best role in here. Like that's all. And if that means like being the freaking hero and getting out of addiction, or I don't
Yeah.
know, wanting financial freedom or whatever the hell you want, it's like
Yeah.
go do it. It's a freaking
It's like,
dream, and it's your dream, like apparently. Well,
yeah,
nobody's actually.
everything is just happening all on its own, but seemingly in the dream, looking for, work also happens when you're broke, that kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Or seeking help when you have
Yeah.
addiction also happens. When there's a clarity now, because you know what, when there's this fantasy that everything's just going to get fixed by itself, in the story, if I only get enlightened, then I will not have any more addictions. If I only get enlightened, then I will not have to worry about money. If only I get enlightened, then I will fix all my relationships. That's the fantasy that plays, I'm saying, that keeps the suffering. But when there's clarity in saying that, you know what, I have to get a job, I have to fix my relationships, I have to say hi to my old friends, I have to that kind of thing. Although there's no one doing it, the illusion is that it's not an illusion. So the dream is that it's not a dream. So the apparent choice that is happening is no one's doing it, but choice seems to be happening.
Exactly. And I mean,
Yeah,
it goes vice versa too, that it's like, oh, only if I get out of my addiction, I'll be enlightened or I'll be more
exactly.
present. And for me, it really played that role where I'm like, oh my God, it's all about I am and consciousness. And I can't feel that I am when I'm doped up all the time. And how am I going to ever clear, like, blah, blah, blah. And then you realize, well, it has nothing to do with that, but it still has something to apparently do with something, because, like, I mean, yeah, dealing with your life's problems or enjoying your life's, bounties and beauties is what is. That is like the creme de la creme, the leading edge. Like, what else are you going to go do? Just sit around and ponder the abyss all you freaking can? Like, it's just not practical. Applied non-duality will just leave you a freaking bizarre, weird, disassociated mess. Like,
Are you
that's what I
abiding in
think.
awareness?
Well, I did not get certified clear. I basically was told that like awakening is not for me. So here I am in the fucking rejects group. So
Welcome to the rejects group.
yeah, thanks, man.
All right. It's all
Yeah.
play.
All right.
It's all play. All right. Thank you. Is this where all the outcasts go? Just kidding. There are no outcasts. Harvey goes, the play is ultimate freedom. Yeah, it's just when there's just this the play can get messy, but when it's seen that it's just a play, even the messy is just play. This character seeking was super messy. Now that it's seen as play, it's like, oh, that's what's up. And it's like going back to Richard Richard Sylvester, or comparing, like, which rides did you take? Oh, I take the roller coaster of Advaita, and then I went to the tunnel of consciousness, and then I went to the waves of awareness. Which one is your favorite? I think I like the roller coaster one. That was kind of fun. Yeah. Yeah. You had to be aware. Brandon. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Emerson.
Hello.
That reminded me that Alan Watts used to talk about how this is like comparable to like a dance or music. How there's no point to it. Like the end of like the point of a dance isn't to end on a specific spot on the dance floor.
Yes.
And the point of music isn't to get to the end. Otherwise, the most famous orchestras would be just one banging like crescendo ending, and that would be the
That's
whole
right,
song.
It would just be the symbol, like the end.
Right. Yeah. So I thought about how, yeah, talking about this is the same way. Like this is the perfect example of play because it's completely pointless in every single way. There's no point in talking about this. It's not even
No, but
really
it's
possible to
play.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all doing it and it's great fun.
This is playing a non-duality speaker. That's playing a non-duality listener.
Yeah.
You can even switch roles, you know what I'm saying? Because it's
Yeah.
play. There's no fixed roles.
The
I'm playing a
non-dual
son,
dance.
but there's really no one playing it. See, that's the thing.
Right.
Play is playing it.
Yeah, it gets really serious when there's a me involved.
That's right. Yeah, because the play of the me is just the wow. It's just the, it just gets, I'm seeking, and there should be laugh track, you know what I'm saying? When that happens, seeking what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Seeking what? I'm looking for the play, but you're the play. Well.
Yeah, it's so funny. And yeah, laughing at the apparent me, laughing at yourself, so to speak, is the funniest thing that there is. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Like, yeah, I wasted a lot of time seemingly, but it's so funny
But it's
now.
play.
Yeah, it's play. Sometimes it was fun. It was always interesting. There was a lot of like intellectual, like, I don't know, interest, I guess, in all kinds of things even before seeking. And then that was just like more things for my brain to chew on. But yeah, it was fun.
I used to get invited to this spiritual festivals, right? To kind of like do some talks and meditation and everything. And I used to be so serious about being taken seriously and everything. Now I laugh so hard at that, right? Because it's just
Oh man.
how do I look more spiritual? Do I have enough mala beads? Am I drinking enough kombucha?
Don't blink very often.
That's
Don't move your
right.
eyes when you're
That's right.
talking. Yeah.
That's right. Are all my quotes from Ramana and Nisargadatta, you know what I'm saying? Are they all in check?
Yeah, you got to find like the real obscure teachers too to talk about, so people think, oh, he's listening to people that I've never even heard of.
Yeah. And then when you have an audience, you make sure that you're all paying attention to you.
Oh yeah.
right? They're not getting your full teaching, right?
Yeah.
If they are, and you're like, now it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can go for a break, not come back. That's okay.
Right. Yeah. It would
Nothing
be
is
like
being missed. It's
a
just play.
stand-up comedian noticing that the audience isn't laughing and like having that desire to like, no, everyone has to think I'm funny all the time. They're not getting it. I can see they're not getting it. Yeah. I'm not
There's
waking
nothing
anyone
to
up.
get. See, that's the joke, right? Because there are no punchlines in this. It's all joke, no punchlines.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
What's the punchline? There's no punchline.
If there's a punchline, it's you. The me is the punchline.
Sorry. No, I really enjoy these
Thanks.
meetings because it's an easiness in this seriousness, in this seeming contradictory of seeking liberation, and the seeking of liberation is so painful.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's so
satsangs
much.
are
It's
really
so much.
serious.
It's so serious. It just gets very convoluted sometimes, right? It becomes sometimes cultish, right? As you know
Yes.
now.
I do know now. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it
This is a
becomes,
lot more lighthearted and fun.
yeah. Only if you sign up for my 10-month special.
It'll be way fun if you spend more money. Thanks.
Thank you. I used to do that too, so that's why I'm making fun of it. I would have a forgiveness series for 3 months or something. And someone joked that, do you collect, seekers' tears? Because the more crying, the better, you know what I'm saying? I must be a really good spiritual teacher, make everyone cry, that kind of thing. This play is a tragic comedy, right? But someone forgets to hear the laugh tracks. That's a beautiful baby picture, Leela. My baby pictures are also in black and white because I'm from the 70s. Camille.
Here I am again. I was just
Oh,
like,
no
yeah,
worries. This is fun.
haven't disappeared. Yeah, so frig, man, I was just like pointlessly like Googling what's Eckhart Tolle's net worth. Holy shit, that guy's rich from this stuff, eh? Apparently it's like 70 to 150 million dollars. Like, damn,
What?
what are we doing here? Yeah, well, like the Forbes says 70 million and that he's got like another 80 million in assets. Like, I thought he would be like a couple $1,000,000, but damn, what are we doing here? We need to like,
That's it. I'm
you
going
know,
back. I'm
start
just kidding.
peddling the non-dual crack. Like this circle here is so small, you know, like when you
It
actually
is, yeah.
look at like Jim Newman and whoever and the videos, these are like the famous like leading edge of whatever the hell we're talking about, the nothing. And it's like 4,000 views, 3,000 views. Like nobody wants this.
Yeah. No,
Like,
no, it's repulsive to the believer, right? No one wants to lose all of their belief systems and to see it's no one wants this.
I
No
know.
one really
And
wants this. It's it's not what people think that they're desiring, right? But it's giving you rawness. This is raw.
I know. And
It's
even
not.
though we can all agree that like, damn, this is all there is. Like, what more would you want? Like, the point is clear, but it's still like so undesirable or boring. Like, there is, even though it's full of freaking mystery to the max. But yeah, that's why the teacher we were talking about, such a clever teaching that psychologically you will actually put people in a state of progress where they can actually achieve on a checklist. Oh, I got
You're
all the
almost there,
way to,
Camille. You're almost there. Almost there.
yeah, I almost got to abiding non-dual awareness. Holy crap! Like, damn, I'm like brown belt now. You know, like,
Yeah. And that's what I was
so
that's what I was kind of like, I would have a it's the circle, right? People that usually kind of like are the people that really wants to will go all out and everything. And just more kind of like, it's just more awareness, more consciousness. You just need to meditate more. And again, there's nothing wrong or right about that. But when the play started showing it's cracking, right? You're kind of like, oh shoot, this is play. And this play is like, I'm taking this, it's almost like you get caught up in the play, and then you realize that everything that you're teaching, everything that you're doing is just play. And then here are people that are taking the play really, really seriously. They're buying into it. And then you can like, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this anymore, because it's like it's in the play of being a teaching. There is this preconceived notion that you're saving souls, but there's no one to be saved.
I know. So we already talked about this. I already asked you about Eckhart, but it's kind of like I yeah, I guess just for fun's sake, I like wonder, like, man, did you like reach, like, did you like figure out that this is all there is, and then you were like, oh well, I'm making a shit ton of money, it's all good, this is all there is, or
there
do
there
you
was a
just not know?
there was and that's what, when there was a kind of like a holy crow, right? What it And the way that I was doing it was opposite though, right? I was giving away all my money. I was doing the saintly version of it, right? Rather than raking in the money, I was giving it all away. And midway, I was beginning to make a lot of money and everything like that. But both giving away the money, what I'm saying, to get that sage, to do the selfless service part of my dharma, so to speak, right? And then the getting a lot of money too was all empty, meaning that there was no point to any of it. So I felt like that there was a how do you call it, I was doing more harm than good to the students.
But what about him? Do you think that, and this is just for fun, there's no him, but like, do you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that character Eckhart, like like
He
is
has a nice
aware
mansion
that
in
this is,
Vancouver.
yeah, but is it, is he aware that this is all there is, you think? Or
It is
like,
what
I
it
mean,
is.
and I mean, when we're talking about whoever we've been talking about throughout this podcast, I mean, it doesn't really even matter to hold back names anymore. But with
It's just
that,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
with
just
that,
play
I
as
do
well.
do think that he's high on his own supply, because it's amazing. You can actually psychologically feel like, oh my God, abiding non-dual awareness, like whatever. And perhaps you actually can check yourself off and be like, I'm enlightened. Wow. Or in like how
Well,
that's like the designation of all, like,
yeah,
you know?
when I thought I was, I really believed it. I really believed that could help people, and then the drug wore off. You're like, holy you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
there was this earnestness in what I was doing, and it came from, in the story anyway, in the play, it came from a genuine, sincere, giving out and everything, really wanting to help others out there. But when and I think someone was basically mentioning it, when did it crack, Emerson? I was talking to someone because there was this joy and bliss and everything, and trying to help others and all that kind of stuff, and trying to give them liberation. Um, when I saw that it was all a facade, it's like when the veil was lifted all the way, saying, you're like, oh shoot. When you have a glimpse, basically, that there's no one doing this, but still, it was just this confusing. So there's a lot of grief about it, right? Because I invested in this completely. I gave up my corporate life. I gave up my relationships, my romantic relationships for this, right? For this. And then that was my whole identity, was this spiritual teacher, Emerson. And it was just this full onness. And when the cracks started showing, I just was just a mess, right? I'm like, well, there's really no difference. It almost became nihilistic, because I thought I
Yeah.
lost my enlightenment. I'm like, well, there's really no difference in this than going to a bar, kind of thing. And then there was this duality
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was
You end up
playing out.
trapping yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. There was just this duality that was playing, right? So with characters, what I'm saying, that are teaching, there are really no others. If you really look at it, it's all a dream.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
reminds me, like, because we're just talking about business. So from a business standpoint, damn, what a good idea. Like, I love watching business shows, and it's like death is one of the best investable businesses, like funeral homes, all these things. Well, this should be like next to that. I don't know. We should create some like freaking non-dual app, or like a non-dual dating website, and just go on Shark Tank with it. And, come on, people, you ain't gonna reach oneness unless your partner is one as well. And boom. But that actually reminds me about the whole Fred thing that we were talking about. It's like his minions actually are trying to get him on Oprah and to like sell it to the whole world. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys are probably onto something. Like, this is exactly what, like, just systemize it, sell it to Oprah, make a freaking app out of it, or some software or something,
it,
and
it
fuck,
is
you're
what
a
it is. You know what I'm
billionaire. You're
saying?
gonna
It's just
destroy Eckhart.
it's just gonna play out like that. You know what I'm saying? And there's really no others. And it's just what is. I know that it's really kind of like this seeming kind of like contradictions of what's being talked about and everything. Um, it's just what is. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like when it's seen that that's also it, and then it's kind of like when it's seen that there is a rabid dog and you don't pet it, then you just walk away.
Yeah,
Simple.
and it does kind of make it seem like I'm glad it is what it is. It serves its
It's a
place
play.
in it all. Like, yeah, it
It's
makes
a
it
play.
like, whoa, like it's fucking, yeah, cool. Interesting stuff.
It's like you're purging.
Exactly, exactly. This is where rehab happens for sure.
All right. Well, thanks, Camille.
Thank you.
All right. What do you think is different from what you're talking about with others? Let's not do this comparison thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just what is, right? It's just it's all play. It's all play. There's nothing better. There's nothing worse. It's just what is. Um, there was this character that also was, you know, was a teacher before, but what's seen is that's just a play as well. Is something that does not resonate, then you know what? Then that's basically it. There's going to be other characters that will resonate with that, and that's also the play. But in the great picture, in the grand picture of it all, there's really no players. It's like looking at a grand painting, you know, one of those painting that you see in Rome, you know, with like a whole bunch of this elaborate, many different characters. Nothing is less or more than the other. There might be some dark corners over there, but it creates this grand picture of what is. You don't have to like, you know, the dark corners. You might like the brilliant kind of like cherubs, you know what I'm saying, in the heaven. And there's this depiction of something really brutal and everything, graphic, you know what I'm saying, in one of those Rome pictures, if you know what I'm talking about. But it's the whole picture. It's the whole picture. And the whole picture is a play. It's just this. Hello. Who's that? I saw a raised hand. Leela. Hi, Leela.
It's me.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
One thing I noticed that's different in radical non-dual meetings is that because the teacher keeps saying that's what it is as it is, and you know, towards the end or middle to end of the meeting, it gets silent.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to talk because they know or they feel that they're just not getting that it is what it is. So everybody zips their mouth. Whereas with other types of teachers who give you prescribed things to do,
Yeah.
people are chatting, and towards the end, actually, there were more questions.
There are, yeah, that's right.
So that's something I've noticed. And I think in the dynamic in your meetings, Emerson, is that people go into I've learned more in the last two, just listening in the last two breakout rooms than I have in this session. Because people are kind of drop their guard a little, and they're like telling it as it is.
That's what it's for.
But so I'm wondering, like, even if we know, like, okay, I've brought up a few things I've realized, but I have been struggling with a lot of doubt off and on, as you know. And so even if I don't have an issue right at the forefront right now, but I'd like to be able to. The other thing is you do a shit ton of one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And so people all have the experience of being with you one-on-one. So that's when we're like going, I can't stand it anymore. Just push me over the edge. I can't stand it, you know. So anyway, I'm just saying I've noticed that dynamic in this group. And even though everybody's really friendly and open, and it happens in Kenneth retreats and in Jim retreats too, I've taken,
Yeah.
where everybody just zips it by the end. There's nothing to
That's
say.
right. You know, in the in-person meetings, right? People usually go for drinks afterward.
Right. Well, I think I told you my very first non-dual retreat in 2010 was with Tony Parsons, and he opened the
Yeah.
bar at noon,
That's so
and people were just drinking starting at noon.
I used to towards the end of me doing retreats, right? I used to find the farthest place away from where my retreat is, and then do a couple of shots. Towards the end, I'm like, whoa, I can't take that anymore. I can't do this anymore. It's like but you can't be seen doing that, right? In the spiritual community. It's a big no-no. Like imagine, yeah, it's just what is.
I thought radical non-duality meant that you have to have a certain blood alcohol level before the meeting started.
Oh, shoot. Look like in a cute.
Sorry. How to come to see it's just a play. The play is just another word for this. The play is just another word for illusion. The play is just another word for dream. The place is just another word for the unreal real, the happening unhappening. It's just a clever take on, well, not really clever, it's just a simple take on what seems to be appearing. It almost softens the blow of the grief that that the fantasy is not real. Or the seriousness of you know of getting and not trying and not getting, trying and not getting, that kind of thing. When it's seen that it's just a play, then there's just this easiness to it. Like an innocence to it. Have you been in a play? This. Oh, I did. I was horrible at it. It was a spiritual play. It was from the Bhagavad Gita. I played multiple characters and I did not know my cues, so I screwed up the whole play. And it was done through Ishkan, which is the Hare Krishna. It's just like this. Someone screwing up the play. Someone is
Are we-
dismantling the fantasy.
Do I need to raise hand? I'm
Oh,
already
go ahead. Hi, Lila.
already speaking. Yeah, so I feel in a way like not speaking, but like there are like I don't know, there's feeling like something's maybe trying to silence any questions or doubts or whatever. So I guess I'll just sort of start with the one that kind of came up, like wondering about this message, like so many people saying how it's a devastating message, like everything you know is taken away
Yeah.
and like all that stuff. And
Or it could be the opposite. It could be just meh.
yeah, because like, yeah, I feel like that's kind of, I'm not sure if that's experience. Like I
Yeah.
kind of feel like there's almost been like trying to understand what that means. And
Yeah. There's no
like,
reality
yeah.
to anything, right? So it could appear as anything So
Because it
for
didn't
the
quite that way. Yeah. I mean, it hasn't, I mean, I kind of grew up as an atheist. I don't know. I
that
mean,
there you go.
I was raised that way. I mean, it wasn't like something I came to. It was like I was just told,
Yeah.
no, there's no God, there's no nothing, whatever. So like there was always kind of more like, well, what is nothing? Like more of a question
A
of, well,
curiousness, right? That's it.
yeah,
It's just
curious.
curiousness. The
So the thing
curiousness.
but I feel like maybe it just hasn't happened, that I just don't know that something's been taken away. So I think sometimes there's looking for that. Like, I mean, I have a grandchild and a new grandchild, just one so far, like almost a
Oh,
year old, and sometimes thinking like, well, he's not really anything, and then trying sort of like mind kind of making in that, how is that a bad thing? But I kind of can look back to some of my own, I mean, I'm looking back to like innocent times when I was a kid, like once when I almost died having my tonsils removed, I almost bled to death,
oh wow.
and like how much peace there was,
Yeah.
like at 7 years old, like just beautiful, no fear after a point of being in a lot of pain or agony, but then there was like no fear, not even needing my mom, just
Yeah.
pure peace. And it was wonderful. And I had been, even at that age, terrified of death,
Yeah.
but at that time there was only peace. There was just, I don't care what happens. I mean, not even thinking that, it was just nothing, it didn't matter. And like, I don't know, I do feel like I'm missing something, like it hasn't hit me
You're not,
somehow.
actually. You're not.
Okay.
So the play is that you're missing something.
Okay. Yeah. And also when people are speaking about like the Kundalini stuff, it's like, I don't know.
Again,
Yeah, I don't know if anything like that's
kind of like
happened.
what I told that character, right? You know, like in the appearance of this play, there's going to be trillions of trees, and none of them are the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the
That
apparent, yeah. So the comparison prolongs the play that it's real.
yeah.
So when it plays out, it's like, you know, it's those unguardedness, right? So it's already done. There's just
Yeah.
this repeating kind of like playback of that. Am I missing something? Because
Yeah.
that's the play.
Yeah, like stuff has to happen. And then there
Yeah.
are like where, I mean, I can see sometimes the same piece, like of being a child in moment, like when everything stops for a second, like the question stopped for a second, like the same piece is still there, but
Yeah.
there's like, oh no, well, I have to do more.
And it's a play of opposites, right? Sometimes I can like talk to apparent characters that does one-on-one in it, and sometimes it's like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It's like oh,
Yeah.
it's almost like oh. And then there's this kind of like the obviousness sometimes in the clarity of some characters, and they'll keep on saying that, but how come I still feel that there's a me? There's already
Yeah.
loads of clarity, right? It's like the belief system is just and there's just this, it's almost like a playback, like a repeating kind of like, you know, like it's a recording, right? That appears, right? There's like, am I missing something?
Yeah.
When it's already, when you're looking at your grandson, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of like those, and everything is an illusion. So even the appearance of awakening is an illusion.
Hmm.
Does that make it's all play? So in the apparent play, it's going to look like, you know, that there's something that's being missed. And that's
Yeah.
what you know, for example, when I had that clarity, you know, I don't know, 15 years ago or something, when I was a spiritual teacher, there was loads of clarity, but that clarity I started you know, trying to make sense of it, right? Trying to maintain it, trying to, you know, trying to maintain it, but it is what it is, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
the
the frustration of, am I missing something? You know what I'm saying? It's all that can like, I'm so frustrated with this. What's going on? That's also it. The play is playing that way. And
so
sorry, go ahead.
sorry. Some things like feeling like, in a way, like everything is fake, and I think that may be kind of like just because of the idea of AI,
Yeah,
which
yeah. Well,
nothing's natural, then nothing's artificial either, so there's
yeah.
only nothing. really.
We're
But
just
like,
really swimming in
oh,
words, but we're already
yeah,
drowned, right? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, but do you remember that when we had that talk, that one-on-one, and there was just this kind of like you didn't know what was happening anymore?
yeah.
Remember that? How long did that last?
Like a day and a half, like
Yeah,
thoughts were still happening, but they were
but
like not
that's
as
it. It's the same
powerful.
as this. It's the same
Yeah,
as this. You just have a thought that it's not the same as this. Does that make
yeah,
any sense?
yeah,
It's this already. It's almost like it's like, you know, you there's a caught up again, getting caught up again, and like, um, I want what she's having. Well, I did not feel that way. So that's what I'm saying, that that's the looping kind of like idea that something is missing. And it appears in many different ways, right? It appears as like, oh, it's really hot today. That kind of thing, right? It's
yeah,
just this apparent discontentment of what already is. But that discontentment or that comparison is just a wave of separation. So
yeah,
there's this stillness already. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like what we're that day and a half. You know what I'm saying? Of just like whatever. Uh, there's this stillness already, right? And there's still waves, but you're getting caught up in the surface level again.
yeah.
You're
That's
not
what it
looking
feels.
at the whole picture.
Trying to figure out that surface level,
What's
trying
that?
to make the waves go away, trying
Yes.
to make
So you're
the waves
riding
go
the
away.
waves again, right? You're like, hey, how come she has the wave of a Kundalini wave over there?
Yeah, I know, and I could for a second see like, okay, so there's already all stillness is already under that. It doesn't matter whether there's
Doesn't
Kundalini
matter. It's
or not.
already the ocean, right? You're looking for water in the ocean.
Yeah. Alan Watts said something about trying to like get rid of the waves by using like I don't remember if he said like an iron to iron the waves. It just makes more like, that's not how he said it, but like yeah, like whatever you do to try to make things quieter just makes things more
Yeah.
wavy.
Yeah, it's the more that you look for waves, the more waves appear.
Yeah, yeah,
It's because you're caught up in that surface level. The surface is going to have waves. You know what I'm saying? It's only kind of like at like, you know, in when it's kind of like late at night that the water is completely still, right? Or I don't know actually what waves are, but there's stillness that happens. And then when there's stillness that happens, it's like deep sleep.
yeah.
The stillness from the top is the same stillness as the bottom, seemingly, right? The stillness, it's all stillness.
I've
And then the
noticed.
morning again, the waves start appearing again, kind of like there's something missing. There's something missing. So it chases for another wave. But the wave is just looking for another wave. So all it will end up is waves.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that that appearance of this kind of like, you know, there's this clarity that you can't even figure out what this clarity is. Thoughts are still happening, but it's okay. This is
yeah,
the same.
yeah.
Yeah. This is exactly the same as that. There's no difference from that.
It does feel like this very surface saying like, no, it's not the same. But
Yeah,
it is.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
like chasing waves, right? No, 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 no. I've seen a bigger wave. I saw the perfect wave, you know what I'm saying? So the appearance of the whole, you contracted it into a small idea of a perfect wave.
Yeah,
You see what I'm talking about? So
yeah,
at that appearance, you know what I'm saying, after that talk that we had, that one-on-one, there's already stillness. And then the waves appearing, you know what I'm saying, are the same. It's like you saw the whole picture. You saw the whole ocean. But you cannot, you cannot think of the ocean as just perfect waves. It's unthinkable. It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even the waves and the doubt and the everything else.
That's the whole thing. That's
You
the whole
don't have to
shebang.
stop it. Yeah.
The whole ocean, the tidal wave, the tsunami, the
Everybody has
ripples,
ideas.
everything. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the whole thing. And there's nothing that can be done about it. You know what I'm saying? But because it's all stillness appearing as waves.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You.
Thank you. Jeffrey.
Yes. I'm here.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Um, I don't know. I want there to be. I want there to be something, some complication, and there isn't any.
No, you're trying to look for complication, right? You won't find
Yeah,
it.
I want something to bite my teeth into, and
You can't.
there isn't.
There isn't. Yeah. It's empty. You can't bite into it.
I I keep coming up with this question of why exist at all.
Why not?
No, there's no purpose.
So what? There's a trying to grasp that there is really nothing happening by creating a complication of a question that seems to arise, you know what I'm saying, to try to trip this up to fit the narrative of why I'm here. But it can't
I went
find
there.
itself.
No, I went there. If there's no meaning,
Yeah.
then I don't understand why existence is. What is
It's play. Does play have any meaning aside from play?
the play from one moment to the next?
Yeah. There's a play that life has meaning, but it doesn't have any meaning. There's a play that there's a purpose, but there's really no purpose.
So
But
it's just like,
it plays that it has meaning. If all of the in the absence of all of this seeming trying to understand that navigating process of trying to figure out what this is, then when that kind of like turning of the wheels seemingly breaks, right, then it sees that even if it doesn't have a purpose, there's red, there's blue, there's air, there's skin, there's taste, there's vision, there's love, there's freedom, there's fear, there's bitter, all appearing as this appearing as that. Does it need a purpose? Does it need any meaning?
so there's still the richness of sensation. There's still
Yeah.
the
It
music,
doesn't
the
have to
dance.
have any meaning in the richness of sensation. The
So
dream doesn't have any meaning or purpose. It's just a dream, right? There's still
you
enjoyment
dance.
or fear or kind of like a, there's still an arising of sensations of what seems to appear, even though it is completely meaningless and pointless. Like when you have a dream, for example, you'll have a vivid dream of something that was really grand and something, and then you wake up, you're like, I was dreaming that I was Jeffrey Carlitz. It was such a grand dream. I was dreaming that I was wow. Oh, this is still the dream. Jeffrey Carlitz is still a dream. It doesn't have any purpose. You can you wake up and you're like, oh, what was that dream? Wow. Every time that the dream ends at night, it collapses. And there's just this deep sleep or awakeness. It's kind of like, but what's not seen is that the dream is still this. So if this is the same as the nighttime dream, does it need to have any purpose or meaning or relevance? There could be a dream of relevance. There could be a dream of meaning. There could be a dream of purpose.
So
but it's just this.
it's like listening to music. You just enjoy.
Exactly. Exactly. You're not trying to get to the end to the music. You know what I'm saying? It's all music.
Well, you don't want
right?
it to end, really.
Yeah. There's no purpose to listening to music. There might be relaxing that happens or dancing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it does not have any relevance really. It's play. It's art.
It's very hard to let go of meaning. It's
Well, that's the dream. The dream is it's very hard to let go of meaning. That's the dream.
it's
The play is that it's very hard to let go of meaning. That's the play.
that's actually what I needed God for. God provided the meaning, and
Yeah. And that's the dream.
yeah,
That's the dream. That's the dream. When it's seen that God and the dreamer, Jeffrey Karlitz, evaporate completely, then you can believe that it's just Jeffrey Karlitz, or you can also see that it's just what is.
I can be there.
Yeah, it's just what is. What is without thoughts, without meaning, without purpose, even if thoughts or meaning seemingly comes, it's empty and full at the same time. So this life is not life, but it's life. But it's not life.
So the thoughts that come into your head that tell you what to do the next moment, you just allow that to happen.
Well, there's no one allowing it really. It's just what
The
is.
thoughts have their own life.
They don't even have a life. But I know what you're saying. They're just automatic. They're automatic. They're just like like a computer program.
I don't have to question why that
If you
thought is
question it, that's
telling me.
okay too, because that's another thought.
I see.
But when you see that everything that happens, the questioning, the not questioning, is just a thought, then there's just this flow of nothing. It's impotent. There's no power. It does not need to be controlled, or it does not need it to be controlled, because it is just what it is. That's also what it is. It's like having a dream at night. You can't control the dream, but nothing also happens in the dream. So there's really nothing to control.
Yeah. I have to let go of meaning. That's hard for me.
But there's no one letting go of meaning. So if meaning appears, that's what is too. But there's also no meaning. Again, there's this seeming kind of like opposition of this or that. But what if this or that is this? It doesn't matter. There's no measurement. There's no heavier, and there's no scale.
Well, often you have more than one thought, and then there's the choice. Another thought comes in and says, "Not that, this." So a choice is made. So
that's a thought too, that a choice is made, isn't it?
And the choice is usually made on the basis of some meaning, that one thought is less interesting or less meaningful than another thought.
But what if everything is just automatically happening and no one has control of meaning or no meaning?
Well, there seems to be someone that chooses one thought over another.
But that's another thought. See?
That's another thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything that you'll ever come up with is a thought.
So
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Just let it happen.
Well, that's just another thought. And that too. And that. And that. See how automatic it is, that there's really no control about it? That's also emptiness, or what is appearing as thoughts. So there's nothing wrong or right about thoughts. There's no meaning, or there's no meaning. It's just what is. So every single thought is freedom. It's unconditional freedom, appearing as whatever. Appearing as
Why
no
does it?
meaning, appearing as meaning. It doesn't matter. It's all freedom. But not the freedom that you can think of, the unthinkable freedom. Or let's just call it peace. Every peace, every time that the thought appears, it's this unconditional peace. That's unconditional peace. That's unconditional peace. It's all unconditional peace. And then when the peace seemingly take it over, then there's nothing that you can do because it's at peace. Everything is at peace.
But often the thoughts seem to torture me. I feel tortured or haunted.
So
by thoughts.
that's just another appearance. It's just peace appearing as torturing peace. But it's still peace.
I see. So the judgments are unnecessary.
That's also peace.
I see.
Yeah.
That's another thought judging a thought.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just peace under a different name. Or let's use the languaging. There's no separate God and there's no other God, or it's just all God. So it's just all God appearing. But there's no separate God. It's either there's no God or it's all God. But not the knowable God, because that's a separate God. Do you see what I'm trying to say here? The moment that you think of it, it's separate. But that's also peace. Every idea is no idea. Everything that is thought of is what is. That's it. That's it. Whatever appears is it. That's it too. That's it too. That's it too. And that. And that.
You're not leaving me much. You're not leaving me much room.
No, because it's just what is. This is non-duality, right? So there's no two.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I see.
Yeah. So it's either thoughts are separate or they're not at all. They're just peace appearing as separate. Meaning it's also it. It's just
There's
the
something.
unconditional acceptance of everything that appears as peace.
The only thing in my way seems to be this desire to fight. I want
But
to
that's another
fight.
thought. That's another thought.
Right. But
See? That's also peace. The desire to fight is peace.
I want to object, but I can't.
Yeah, because all I'm hearing is peace.
Yeah.
No matter what you say, it's just peace. Or love, or stillness, or whatever. But I'm not hearing separation. Words are all made up. So all that you'll ever come up is words and thoughts. And you, my friend, is also made up. You're also a thought. So the thought will just come up with more thoughts and more thoughts and more thoughts and more thoughts. It's to maintain a thought that I am. So in the absence of the I am, the thoughts, the words, all the made up words, it's this booming silence. It's this indescribable peace.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Brandon.
I went through what Jeffrey was talking about as well on the whole like letting go of, well, not letting go, but coming to the apparent realization that there's no meaning behind anything.
Yeah.
And it was during a time in my life where I'd had some like non-dual experiences from edible cannabis and psychedelics. I was abusing cannabis pretty heavily at the time, and my life was kind of a roller coaster in a lot of ways, a lot of stress and worry. So I would go from laughing and knowing that, you know, that's just what it is and there's no
Yeah.
meaning, to then being really horribly depressed and almost to the point of
Oh,
suicidal
that's the
about,
pendulum swinging, right? Like the meing,
yes,
being. Yeah.
yes.
Contracting,
And,
openness. But that's
but
also it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and being in the position of, well, it's all pointless, nothing matters, and that's sad, is giving it a meaning. It's
Oh,
giving
yeah,
it the
yeah,
meaning
yeah. I
that
see
that's
what you're saying.
negative or that that's sad, which is also just another thought, and
Mhm.
it's also giving something meaning. So it wasn't a true belief that there was no meaning, because if you think it's sad, then that's not seeing that there's really no meaning. That is projecting a meaning still. And
That's
but
right.
I
Yeah.
went through that as well, so I definitely understand where he's coming from for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there is this, but when when everything basically is just seen as just disappearance of ideas that are really pointless. I understand, the sentiment and everything of that thing, but it's rather than igniting the fire, it's almost like pouring water on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was also the seeing of the relief of, oh, this is just a dream, like
Yeah.
thank goodness, that's
Yeah.
what a relief.
Yeah.
None of the
Yeah.
suffering was
Yeah.
real or as serious as I thought it was
Yeah.
either.
So it's like if your house is burning, do you add more wood to it?
Right.
And that's what thoughts appear. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you add more thoughts into it, rather than kind of like just, taking a what do you call this, fire extinguisher and going, they're just words.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
another fire comes up. Well, how about this? And I'm like, that's just another word.
Yeah. And you don't seem to be able to will that away. Like I mentioned earlier about the self-inquiry, I would have a negative thought. I'm like, okay, who's thinking that? Okay, who? And then sometimes
Yeah.
I would just tell myself to shut up, sometimes even
Yeah.
out loud, because I was getting so pissed off at myself for self-inquiring everything away.
Yeah,
And not, yeah,
but that's just another log in the fire, right?
yeah,
Because it
yeah,
reinforces that there's someone inquiring, although
yeah,
there's no one choosing it. So when it's seen again, when you see the whole script, you're like, oh shoot, I'm just reading my line. There's a whole script that this is a play.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just what is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're still a character lost in a play that thinks it figured out
What's my
that and
line?
is
What's
trying
my
to now
line? My
escape.
line says,
Yeah,
what's my motivation for this
yeah,
part? I'm a seeker, right? I'm supposed to be angry.
mhm,
You know.
yeah. Yeah, it's wild. There's no way out. There's no way to get out when there's no you to get out.
Exactly. Yeah. How can you get out when there's no you to get out, right? It's just what is.
Yeah.
When it's seen that there's really no you and this is just a play of what is.
Yeah.
The unfigure the only thing that you will never be able to figure out is this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've all spent a lot of time trying, I assume, if we
Well,
made
the
it
moment
here.
that you figure it out, you will not get this. It's
Yeah.
it's so silly, right?
Yeah, I always use the example of trying to like trying to research a joke so you can like deeply understand the punchline of the joke. Like you either laugh instantly or you don't, but
Yeah.
there's no figuring it out and then laughing. It doesn't work that way.
No, you can fake it, saying the laughter and everything.
Yeah.
But but what's the point of that?
Right.
Yeah.
Convincing other people that you're enlightened, I guess. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. But there's nothing. See, when it's really seen, there's no one to convince, so it doesn't really matter. Hey Emerson, who's your favorite author and what book are you reading right now? I know that you like books. I love Jose Saramago. He's I think he's a Nobel Prize, one of those winners, Pulitzer or something. He wrote Blindness. There's this book about the entire population goes completely blind, and then the writing, the depiction of the blindness, and it's just it's wow, yeah. What else? I'm reading Dune right now. We're reading Dune, and Dave Foster Wallace's Infinite Jest. How about you? What books are you reading? Oh wow, Slaughterhouse-Five. Yeah, I've read it. Yes, yes, Camille, I am. I'm gonna be in Van one day, and then but yeah, if that's why I asked where you were. Um, there's a meeting that was booked, an in-person meeting, but it's a private one. So this weekend. Hey Emerson, what's your favorite movie? Um, I watch a lot of movies. Um, there was a time that I did not watch movies because it was my spiritual practice. Um, oh, I don't know if Ilyana's here, but that movie, it's about a kid. That was a really great movie. I can't remember the title. A sailboat named whatever. It's a
A
great,
boy
great movie.
named Sailboat.
A Boy Named Sailboat. Yeah, that was a great movie.
I haven't watched it yet, but she's told me to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's really, really great. It's about I should not tell you anymore. Just watch it. It's great.
Okay. Yeah, we can't seem to stream it here for some reason.
I think it's on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. A Boy Named Sailboat. Yeah, that was a great movie. When I
Yeah,
was a kid, I used to like E.T.
me too.
Extraterrestrial. Yeah. E.T. Phone Home. I like directors. So I like Steven Spielberg when I was a kid. Then I liked Darren Aronofsky. And then I also liked what's his name? I can't remember. Oh, it's on Tubi. Yeah, cool. That's free on Tubi. Yeah.
You like Darren Aronofsky? Did you see The Whale?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, it was good.
Yeah. I cried a lot at the end.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For movies, you might want to check out movies by the director Terry Malick.
Oh yeah, I like Terry Malick's movie as well.
His movies are there's always underneath whatever the plot is.
Yeah, it's
There's
beautiful.
like almost like a mystical message always there in terms
Yeah.
of the visuals, the audio. You just get totally immersed in something that's beyond language.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, it's like a meditation almost. These films.
Yeah.
There's just some stuff about it. I used to go to film. I used to kind of go solo and go to film festivals and just watch movies after movies after movies after movies. Yeah. When recently anyway, because there was when I was in the spirituality, there's just I missed so many movies, right? So it's almost like a yeah. But I used to be I used to like watch some of the French cinema, you know what I'm saying, and um a lot of the classic like movies, that's out there. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you liked The Whale, um, the another movie he made, I think it's called The Fountain.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I've loved
Yeah.
that movie. I love that movie.
And that one you can watch over and over again because it's like a multiple.
It's visually great. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And the ending of that, in a way, and the whale ending, there's without giving anything away, it's
Yeah.
both have the powerful endings.
Yeah. I think I like most of his films. Almost all of it. I think Darren Aronofsky's films.
Yeah.
I used to find meanings in film, and now it's just entertainment, right? It's
Yeah.
I used to find the deeper meaning, but there's just this. But you like that too, Leela? That A Boy Named Sailboat. It's beautiful.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
Yeah, it's an Aussie. No, it's a really small film, right? And I'm surprised that it did not get any more attention.
Yeah.
It's very wholesome. Thank you, Emerson. I think that these intros that you did in the past 2 days is peak form. It's almost a return to what I loved about you in the beginning, but you took it to another level. I also appreciated talking about the other teachers. There are really no others. If you really look at it, there are really no others, and that seems to be the clarity that it's almost like when it's all of these apparent appearances that are so impactful sometimes, and it's so wow sometimes, right? That there is this appearances of others and everything, and then there's this, and it's not discounting anyone's experience and everything, but the appearances that seem to appear are just like pigments that seems to appear in a dream. And the more that you look at it, the more that it's seen, that all of these appearances, all of these stories that pop up in and out and everything, right, is this appearances of something that never is. And when it's seen that there's really no separation from this to this to this to this to this, when all the words seemingly fall apart, names of characters and everything, and when there's just this peace that radiates in everything that is being said, that's in everything that's being expressed, even the peace in the apparent talking about others, although there are no others. So the peace that's being talked about is in everything, in every single idea, in every single story. This character likes talking in metaphors sometimes, it's stories, and it's all just barely exposing that it's already is peace. So the story seems to unroot the story, to unroot that the story, whatever seems to appear as peace, but that not the peace, the kumbaya peace, not the peace that, peace and love, that kind of thing, the peace that cannot be understood, the peace that pieces all of this together, the peace that is so undeniable, unmistakable, but still misunderstood. It's not about understanding this peace. It's not about trying to figure out this peace, because this peace is no matter what. This peace is persistent. If the illusion is persistent, this peace is persistent. But the illusion is also peace. It's just appearing as not peace. So peace and not peace is the same peace. When you piece it all together, it's all peace. And there's nothing that can be done or not done about what already is at peace. But thank you. I appreciate that comment. Thank you. this this piece is slapping me. Slap back. I'm just kidding. Jeffrey, hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I noticed that when I told my thoughts that they could make hay, go for it, and they stopped. They stopped. I gave them permission to do whatever they wanted, and they had nothing. They had nothing to say.
How does that feel?
Well, at first I was perplexed. I mean, they've been trying to control me all these years, and now when I allow them, they stop. I guess.
Did you make peace?
I had no choice.
Exactly. Exactly. That's beautiful. Isn't it nice, just this clarity that it doesn't matter what comes, it goes. What comes goes.
No, this could definitely be a new life.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember first time meeting you apparently in these meetings. Was it a couple of weeks ago? A month ago?
Yeah.
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 It was the week before Mother's Day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. It's already peace. It's already peace. It's like it's there's no one but making peace with peace itself.
Well, it seemed as though my thoughts were deriving a lot of their power from my resistance.
Yeah,
So
what's because it reinforces it.
yes.
When there's a resistance, it reinforces it. And
So when I gave them permission, they just went up in smoke.
that's right. Yeah. I
Here
was
I've
beginning to see the emptiness there, and this is just a story right there. It's just empty. Like you were coming up empty, meaning that the thoughts didn't have any power anymore. It was just kind of like, oh. And then when you said speechless, that's it. That's basically it.
Yes, thank you for
Oh,
that.
I did nothing.
And everything.
Not even that. But you're welcome. Apparently. It's nice, huh? It's just ordinary. It's just simple. It's a relief when there's no more struggle. It's like swimming upstream when the water's flowing nicely.
Well, I think I was addicted to the struggle. I didn't even know
Yeah.
it. I was struggling with the struggle, and it feeds on itself.
It does. It does. It does. Again, it's like when a train of thought is almost like maintained by another thought. But when it's seen that there's really no train of thought.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll end it that we're gonna sing karaoke, I guess. We're going to take a little break. Thank you so much, everyone. And Jeff is gonna sing for us today. Thank you, Jeff.
What am I going to say?
No. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I'll
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you,
I've
Emerson,
already
so
have
much.
the first day process.
Thank you.
The first couple of videos process, I'll send it tomorrow, the first day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you
I'll
so
be back for
much.
singing. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Jeffrey,